So I'm coming to you today with a bit of an update on the Cybertruck. Unless you've been living under a rock, you know at this point the Cybertruck starts deliveries this week. As a matter of fact, it starts tomorrow. And I am leaving the house here as soon as I'm done filming this because I gotta head to the airport because I'm headed to the Cybertruck delivery event in Austin, Texas. Super excited about that. But something just happened this afternoon on X, and I want to share it with you because it's actually a little bit of a breadcrumb and I'm not quite sure what to make of it. So hopefully you'll stick around here. Let me know what your thoughts are because it's a detail on the Cybertruck that to this point we haven't known, and this could be bad news if it is indeed accurate and means what we think it means. So with that, let's head on over to the computer. I want to show you what we're looking at because it's about to be a very interesting 24 hours. Okay, so I'm here on X, and Marquis, of course, he got an exclusive on the Cybertruck, which is awesome for him. Kind of sucks for the rest of us, but basically he just sent this out and said, hold up. So he's in the Cybertruck right now, which is cool. He's doing a video on this, of course. I'm sure he's under embargo until like 2 p.m. Central tomorrow when the official event happens. So this is all we get. However, if you look here in the corner, there's a little bit of detail here that we probably aren't supposed to have at this point. So I want to dive into this because, yeah, this is where things start to look not so good for the Cybertruck. So here we are looking at that same picture from X. And if we zoom in here to the corner, this is what we're looking at. We can see 265 miles displayed right here. And we're looking at these dashes, and these dashes are the battery indicator to tell you how full the battery is. Now, these trucks apparently have been locked on percent all this time, which is why nobody's been able to show this number right here. And that's why nobody knows what the range is for certain, at least until now. So this 265 miles appears to be at 90-ish%. And if we look at this, we can see 9 bars are full, and there's just this little sliver, a little hint of a 10th bar. And that could mean it's probably 91, 92%. But even if it was just 90%, what does that mean for a full pack? Well, pretty simple math here. We're talking 294 miles at 90%. If this is actually 91%, 291, all the way down to 288 if this is actually 92%. Now, the thing is, even though we can do some simple math here and figure out these numbers, there is one thing that is not helpful, and this is the fact that the car constantly is making slight adjustments to this. So no matter what you're doing, where you're going, it's going to have some adjustments over time, and there's degradation, of course. We don't know what truck this is. We don't know how long this truck has been in service. And if there's any degradation on the battery, a number of things could definitely be possible with this truck. So what configuration is it? How old is it? How many miles are on it? And then is this some sort of a slimmed down number? Or is this the real deal? And we're looking at about 300 miles of range on the Cybertruck. Well, if we go back to announcement day, I mean, very clearly the dual motor was listed at 300 plus miles. So if this is a dual motor and it is right at around 300 miles, technically this thing comes in right as promised. It's just a lot lower than what people were definitely expecting for the announcement. Now from there, we can start to get an idea of, hey, how good are these numbers? Are these realistic? Well, we can look over at the Model X for starters. So the Model X has a 100 kilowatt hour battery pack. It's rated at 348 miles range, 333 for the Plaid. And the Cybertruck is rumored to have a 124 kilowatt hour battery pack. So if it is indeed 300 miles, and it's something like 287 miles for the performance, which is basically the same discount factor that we had on the X, it's well over 4%. We'd be looking at 2.42 miles per kilowatt hour for the Cybertruck in dual motor and 2.31 in the Plaid. Now, looking over at the Model X, You got 3.48 for the dual motor versus 3.33 for the performance. So it comes in just under, barely under the efficiency of the Model X. And we know, based on physics, this truck is not going to be as efficient as the Model X. So there should be a discount factor here. But is that enough of a discount factor? Basically, what I'm saying is you have a 24% larger battery pack and you're almost achieving that efficiency level of basically the Model X when compared to the pack size. And this is helpful because we can compare this to the other options that are out there, again, to help rationalize. So if we look at the R1T as an example, which is a much smaller truck, but definitely very, very heavy. But 352 miles on 135 kilowatt hour battery pack gets us 2.61, and their performance version 2.43. And then looking over at the F-150 Lightning, they don't really have a performance version, but they do have the extended range. So 320 miles, it's 131 kilowatt hour battery pack, or 2.44 miles per kilowatt hour. Again, these are rated numbers, so these aren't like real world or any of the funky stuff. This is the EPA numbers. So if the EPA number came in at 300 miles on the Cybertruck, you'd be looking at 2.42 miles per kilowatt hour. Again, slightly less efficient than the F-150 Lightning. So that's where things start to kind of fall apart a little bit, in my opinion. Do you think that the Cybertruck will be quite a bit less efficient than the R1T and barely less efficient than the F-150 Lightning? I don't know. I'm kind of torn between yes and no. It's probably in the ballpark. And it's unfortunate because that's not what I was expecting. As a matter of fact, with these new numbers, I'm updating what I think is going to happen tomorrow. But I think the dual motor, we're still looking at 55-60K. But now EPA, I always thought we were going to come in at 350 miles. But we may come in closer to 300, which is quite a bit less than what even I was expecting. 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds, 11,000 pounds towing, payload 2,500. We already know these are real based on those advertisements we saw outside of a Tesla store recently. And then the performance, $65,000, $70,000. And then for range, 280 to 325 miles in EPA range. So this is not really great news. And if these numbers come out to be real on the range, I think there's going to be a lot of people very disappointed. Now, some time ago, I did talk about the Cybertruck coming in at 350 miles of range, not 500, like everybody had been expecting and hoping. Now, it doesn't mean the 500-mile Cybertruck is dead. It just means at time of launch, I truly believe we're going to see a 350-mile Cybertruck. Now, as of today, I'm not so sure about that. I don't know what version this is that the picture was taken from. There's not enough information to really be definitive, but we can start to draw some lines and kind of get some assumptions in there to figure out, man, we could be looking at a 300-mile Cybertruck, and that's going to be disappointing for sure. Now, if that is the case, of course, if you're an urban dweller, that's going to be plenty of range. It's going to be fine. I'm still going to buy it, of course, but 300 miles is, man, that just really is disappointing. Now, if it is 300 miles and Tesla is able to provide some pretty cool updates on how they're charging these things, that could be a game changer. Perhaps this thing charges even faster than a Model X or S. And if that's the case, maybe it's not quite as bad. Now, if you're towing anything, 300 miles is just not going to cut it. Quite honestly, being completely fair, if you are towing something that this truck can haul, 11,000 pounds, that's going to really not be a lot of fun because you're going to have to stop a lot. But enough about that for now. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? Is this like some sort of a Easter egg that's actually just to dampen expectations, and in reality we're going to see 350 plus miles of range? We have like 24 hours to go until we know for sure. I'm not quite sure I know what to think of all this now. I was very confident on 350 miles. Now I'm kind of skeptical. I don't know. So we will find out here soon enough. I'm so excited to find out, and I'm so fortunate to be able to go to Austin here this afternoon. So with that, we'll catch you on the next one.